This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And on the air. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show that, you know what, we just don't give a damn. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Rage Retard. Brian? Smells like that season.
Football's coming.
Uh-oh. And let's kick it off. We're going to start a little bit with the NFC South and those New Orleans Saints. I still got to get in the roll of this. It's unbelievable. And we are going to talk to our New Orleans Saints guru. That's right, folks. We got them all over the country. And today we are going to go down to Winnie, Texas, to talk to our man from New Orleans Saints, James Primeaux. James, are you there?
How you doing today? I'm doing great.
We're great. Sounds like a nice fire going over there, or wind tunnel or something, but that's all right.
Not Jersey, that's all right.
That's all right. So let's talk New Orleans Saints. Brian, stat me.
New Orleans Saints. They finished 7-9 last year, third place in the NFC South. They did not make the playoffs. Oddly enough, that's their fourth 7-win season in the past 5 years. It seems they can't really get to that 8-8 level consistently. Their offense, obviously, as you don't need us to tell you, was fantastic. Number 1 passing offense in the league, number 16 rushing offense, still top offense overall in the NFL, scoring about 29 points a game. Drew Brees is Drew Brees, over 5,000 yards, only QB to do that last year. Mark Ingram led him in rushing with over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and Brandin Cooks led him in receiving, 78 catches for 1,173 and 8 touchdowns. For as good as their offense was, their defense was just as bad. They were the worst passing defense in the NFL. Rushing defense was pretty much middle of the pack. They ended up being 27th overall in total defense. Ended up with 2 first-round picks. One of them addressed the defense. Marshon Lattimore, cornerback out of Ohio State, taken at number 11, and Ryan Ramczyk, offensive tackle out of Wisconsin, 32nd. As a result of a big trade, probably the trade of the offseason, where they sent Brandin Cooks, their leading receiver, to New England for that 32nd pick. They're going to lean heavily this year on second-year wideout Michael Thomas. Had a fantastic rookie year. Actually led the team in receptions and touchdowns. At tight end, though, Kobe Fleener was a free agent acquisition from the Colts. It was really quite disappointing, especially for those of us, Mike, who thought he might be the next Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
Only had 3 touchdowns, just over 600 yards. Plus, again, Drew Brees is himself. He's turning 38, though. So, at this point, I don't know how many years he has left, but he's got 3 years left on this deal after this season. Not sure how that's going to play itself out, but they're in a tough division, Mike. NFC champion Falcons, NFC champion from 2 years ago, Carolina, and a team you know very well, an up-and-coming.
The newly revamped Buccaneers.
In Tampa Bay. So, James, you take a look at this Saints team. I think it's going to be a really interesting year. How much of an impact do you think we're going to feel from the move of Brandin Cooks out to New England?
Well, with Brees, not much. As long as Drew Brees is on the field, hey, pick a receiver, put him on that team, and Brees makes them great. So offense-wise, I don't care who it is. You can put whoever you want in that position, and they're automatically a top-tier wide receiver.
Well, you talk about what the Saints have done in the offseason. They terminated the contract of Jarius Byrd. They did sign Nick Farley to a 4-year deal. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and I think could be lost for the year. With that big move Brian spoke of with Brandin Cooks, got them into the first round to get Lattimore, which I think is a great pick. They made some small moves. They re-signed Travarius Cadet. They signed Manti Te'o to a 2-year deal. But the big story in the offseason is bringing in Adrian Peterson. Now, with the signing of Adrian Peterson, this teaming being a little bit in a way of age, in a way of, we talked about Drew Brees, do you think that's going to add another level to this team to get them over the hump, or is that kind of a fill-in? Because Adrian Peterson is on the other side of his career. He has been playing well, but let's go back to the other question. What do you think about the move for Adrian Peterson? Was it a good move for them?
I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no. What I'm going to say with that one is we'll wait and see. You're either going to get the 2014 or 15 Adrian Peterson coming off of a full year off with a knee injury and then came back as a beast, or you're going to get last year's Adrian Peterson who was injury riddled. I can't say which way we're going to go. I'm hoping for him to come out as a beast and to just destroy everything, but we'll see.
For me, James, I take a look at that move, and I see a guy in Mark Ingram had a career high in rushing yards by quite a bit last year, and it just seemed to me, watching the games, that Sean Payton was just looking for any reason to take this guy off the field. You saw Tim Hightower get quite a bit of play toward the second half of last season, and now you see AP coming in, on top of the fact they drafted Alvin Kamara in the third round. It just seems to me that for whatever reason, Sean Payton is just not in love with Mark Ingram. I'm surprised he's actually still on the team. What are your thoughts on Ingram's, his niche in this offense? Where's he going to really be used?
Honestly, I think they're trying to get back to the 2009 season. If you look at the 2009 running back by committee, you had two hard-nosed hitters and one that was great out of the backfield in Reggie Bush. And I think that's really what they're trying to do as a running back by committee. Keep the pressure off of Brees. Of course, there was two offensive linemen that might not make the beginning of the season. As long as you got Mark Ingram who can push it up the middle. You've also got AP that can push it up the middle. Then you got that new rookie that is supposed to be a Darren Sproles type player, and it's basically going back. They're kind of trying to turn the time back to 2009 when Brees threw for about 4,800 yards, if I'm correct, and you throw less, run, kind of balance it out, throw less than 5,000 yards, have a great run game, and just hope. And I'm hoping the defense will do what they can to help.
We talked about the draft picks, briefly, James, and the four guys I think that are going to be plug-in guys that are going to be there for you is Marshon Lattimore, obviously the cornerback out of Ohio State. He fits this defense well. I think he's going to make a big impact. You got Ryan Ramczyk out of the offensive tackle out of Wisconsin, who the Saints, we've been saying on the last couple of shows, needs some offensive tackle help, and they got it. Marcus Williams, the safety out of Utah. I think with the departure of Jarius Byrd, it's a good slide-in fit there, and obviously Alvin Kamara. But the obvious one I'm looking at, you talked about the wide receivers earlier about the loss of Cooks to New England. Right now, the Saints are going through a little bit of issue of Willie Snead going back and forth on a contract agreement. Do you see them signing him, or do you think he's going to be elsewhere?
Well, that's the great. Honestly, that's the great thing about the Saints receiving corps. It's plug and play. The Saints receiving corps and the Patriots receiving corps have so many similarities, it's unreal. You take anybody and put them in that system, and they're good. So whether Willie Snead's on the team or not, he's a great runner, he's a great player. But whenever it comes to the receivers on the Saints, I honestly, I could take him or leave him. To be honest, if Snead leaves, pick a undrafted free agent and they'll be on the team in no time, making 50, 60, 70-yard catches.
Well, with that in mind, they did sign Tegan Jr. in the offseason, so that's a good plug-in as well.
Well, it's interesting. I feel as though I might have asked you these same two questions last year around this time. So I'm going to ask you these same two questions again. The first question is, how long is Drew Brees going to play for this team and play at a high level? And the second question is, when the hell are they going to stop somebody defensively? Because for God's sakes, that guy goes out there and gives you everything he has. Yep. Again, the offense is not the problem in New Orleans, not even close. Yeah. But they just can't ever seem to stop anybody. It seems like it's a last possession wins always when the Saints are involved. So I'm going to repeat my two questions from last season. How long are we going to see Drew Brees in New Orleans, and who the hell's going to stop somebody defensively?
Well, I really think that any offensive drafting that they've done in the last 4 years has been a moot point. There's no sense in drafting offense, for one. They need to be strictly working on defense. I'm not sure what happened. I mean, I've tried to go back and watch videos from the 2009 season, the winning seasons, 2006 seasons, and watch. It's like the drive has gone bye-bye. The intensity that the defense had is gone. The leadership from those teams, from those two teams, is not there anymore. The leadership that has brought the NFC South title in '06 all the way up to the NFC Championship and the 2009 Super Bowl title on the defense, it's just not there.
Right.
And whenever you talk about Breeze, honestly, I think whenever he had his shoulder rebuilt that they somehow put bionics in there. He's got a bionic shoulder because unlike every other quarterback, including Tom Brady, it's still a laser throw. And all the experts say they cannot find a change in his throw in the last 10 years. So, I mean, it's year to year, basically, or game to game, one hit and anybody's out. But as long as he continues, he takes some of the greatest health and wellness products out on the market right now, and I think that plays a big part in it. Is his eating habits and the way he deals with recuperation and all that, and also I've done a lot of research on the products that he uses and things like that. I think those play a big part in it as well. There's several other players in the NFL that use the same type of products he does for workouts and such that have lasted a long time in the NFL as well.
Drew Brees is definitely a fantasy dream. He has to throw for over 300 a game to keep them in the game because their defense stinks. But anyway, the last question for me. Basically they brought in Garrett Grayson, quarterback. Maybe he'll be the future, maybe he won't be. But this Saints team, in the direction they're headed, they're not ready for a rebuild yet, but they're not ready for a teardown. Where do you think they fall in that category? Are they just filling in the pieces for this year to try to get by, or are they really kind of moving in that direction to revamp this team?
But right now, I think they're trying to get Breeze another ring. Right now, until Breeze retires, all they're doing is trying to build for a ring. And they're building for tomorrow, basically, is what I like to say. Everything that they're doing isn't for 5-10 years down the road. It's for the end of the season. Until Breeze is gone, all they're worried about is while he's here. I don't see them building for the future because they re-signed Chase Daniel after he had been gone for several years.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel's an awesome quarterback. I still can't figure out why he's not a starter. Some of the other quarterbacks in the NFL. But
the people in Philly could probably tell you something about that.
Backups to him.
Yeah, the people in Philly could probably answer that question. But anyway.
And I guess I'm going to put you on the spot, so I will say this. The Saints are consistent, and I say that because, again, as I mentioned, it's their fourth exact 7-win season in the past 5 years, 3 straight years in a row. They've won exactly 7 games. And, since 2011, they've averaged well over 400 yards offensively a game. I mean, This is... I really do feel like this is deja vu, the same conversations we had last year. So, I'm going to put you on the spot, James. Have they done enough with the addition of Adrian Peterson, with the addition of Lattimore, who I love personally, that was a phenomenal pick, to that defense, the changes they've made? Is this the year that we finally see them get to at least 500 or better, since they haven't done so in the past 3 seasons?
Honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say at least 13-3.
13-3. Now those are hot takes.
I know that's a long shot,
only
but
get this on the sports box
this year with the additions on the defense, with getting rid of some of the players on the defense that they have. I really do think that we're going to have a jam-up awesome season this year.
I can't wait till we do the Bucs.
Listen,
Bucs have their chance.
They start scoring 55 a game. They got a shot at 13-3. I'll tell you that.
13-3.
It'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Well, we might have to have a separate show to go through the schedule, James. But anyway, James, we love you and we appreciate you coming on. We want to thank James Primeaux for getting on, helping us out with the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, taking time out of his busy day to get on and talk a little Saints with us. James, we really appreciate it. Thank you, pal.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. I love talking with you guys.
And as always, if anything happens in Saints camp or anything in the Saints, forte, we are going to get James back on the line and talk a little New Orleans Saints. James, is that okay with you?
Sounds great.
Attaboy. Besides that, remember, you can always get the Sports Box on social media if you need to.
Absolutely, and as you know, we're previewing every NFL team coming into what should be a very exciting NFL season, so make sure if you haven't seen yours yet, yours will be up right ready to go. But make sure that you're following us on Twitter and Facebook, both at Sports Box Show. And please, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so, because football's starting, and that is where we love to bring you the content that you're looking for.
Absolutely. Even though we're going into football season, remember, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters is right here. Thanks for watching. See ya. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.